There's blue sand. There's blue sand. Yes, Lord. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Blue Lixard. Welcome to another episode, and today actually we're not doing a gameplay video, more like actually a review of the, let's see here, 17w06a update. Now this is actually a snapshot, as most of you already know. Now you might already have heard of this snapshot by now, but I just thought I made my own video just, for the sakes of this channel and, my interests. So starting off, if we get right into it, we have the first new addition, and as you can see, oh my god, they have different types of sand now. Well, it's actually not sand, believe it or not, but it really actually sounds like sand. As you can see right here, it sounds like sand. It even acts like sand. Say, for example, I were to do this, it falls down, all that, and basically what it is a new type of colored block, I guess you could say. Now, if you look at this mat right here, this is actually this is the hardened or the solidified concrete, I guess you could say. So just like with all the dyes and all the wools and basically all the other types of colorings in Minecraft using dyes, there are 16 different types of these blocks, such as, for example, like I said, the wools or even the hardened clay. Now, here's the thing. You kind of notice how it sort of looks like hardened clay, but at the same time it doesn't. Well, here's the thing. These blocks have a lot more saturation to them than the hardened clay blocks. So if you're looking for more, I guess, more of a little darker feeling, or a little bit more subtle feeling. For example, if you really like colors and you want those more like saturated, there's actually, by the way, more about colors later on actually at the last part. So keep that in mind. We'll just put that to the side for now. Other than that, as you can see, if I, for example, get some hardened clay over here, you can also see that it's not really the same. Like this light gray hardened clay is obviously nothing compared to this one. It's more brownish, and it really isn't. A lot of people will argue that the hardened clay doesn't even look like the colors they're supposed to be. Like this is not even black. This is brown, and a lot of stuff like that. So as you can see, they come in two different forms. The sand-ish kind of version, I guess you could say, which is actually the concrete powder, and of course then the normal concrete, which is when it comes in contact with water. So that brings us to the next part, where basically I did a little setup here to kind of, make a small, just really quick showcase of how it works. So as you can see right here, we have red concrete and red concrete powder. I'm actually going to change my whole inventory without even opening it. So check this out. Boom. Now, if you look into the creative inventory, they added, actually they removed one thing here too. They removed the let's see here, materials tab. And that is simply because it's now merged with the miscellaneous tab. So there is no longer a materials tab, which I think is awesome because I hated, honestly, I can really relate to this because I remember how it was having to simply switch between those two things, not knowing if, like, for example, that item was a miscellaneous item or a material. And it just felt so unnecessary. So I think Mojang did a good job just basically putting everything inside of one. But that's not actually the biggest part of the new inventory that they added. So the biggest part of the new inventory is that you can actually set up custom toolbars. And you can do this by simply saving them with Control or a command if you're using a Mac computer, plus the desired number of going from 1 to 9 on your keyboard. So in this case, for example, let's say I wanted to make a let's say a tool setup for creative. If I were to give items to one person at each, I'd simply just remove these. And it doesn't matter because I can remove those and still get them back with just by clicking Shift and 1 in this case, because as you can see, if I go to the Save Toolbars tab, you can see that the first one compared to the other ones actually have this whole setup. Now you can actually change this as well. You can actually you can't, my bad. You can I thought you could change it, but apparently you can't. But you can definitely change it by going into it, saving it by doing Control 1 or 2 or 3 up to 9, and you can see how it says item toolbar saved, restore with Shift +1. So if, let's say, for example, I wanted to remove all this. Now obviously I went to the Control +2 since it's empty, and I click Shift 1, you can see I get it immediately back. So I could even add tons of stuff like this, and I would just be able to do Shift and 1, and I get it all back. Say, for example, that you're a builder, and you know that moment when you're, or for example, a redstone contraction builder, and you're just really sad that you can't really fit everything inside your inventory, and you constantly have to switch things around, going to the inventory, getting the items that you lost, or using the middle mouse wheel button to get new items and such things, and just, like I did here, and, just saves so much time, so much more efficient. I really like that, and I hope they really keep it. So Mojang, if you're watching this, which I don't think you are, but if anyone were able to show this to Mojang, please keep that feature. I really like it. So either way, moving on back to this, we actually have powder concrete, basically. So the concrete powder is made by a specific recipe, which I'll be going through over there in a second. But when the concrete powder basically comes in contact with water, let's say I put this on for a second, I made a little easy thing. You can see how it immediately, as soon as it comes in contact with the water, turns into a solidified concrete block, or just normal red concrete in this case. Same thing goes for every other concrete or concrete powder. You can see as I turn on the water from the dispensers, it just solidifies immediately. Here's white. Yeah, this actually kind of looks like wool, but believe it or not, there are all colors of, I call it sand because it really looks like sand, but you can see it's actually white concrete powder, and there's a white concrete, so we can simply make concrete by just putting it in front of or in contact with water. So, okay, and now you might be wondering, so how do I do this amazing block, or these blocks, if I do say so myself? Well, it's quite simple, actually. The only thing you need is gravel and sand plus a dye, and the trick to do this is basically by getting 4 gravel and 4 sand and placing them. Doesn't really matter in what order you place these. You could actually even, like, let's say for example, place this over here. You could place this here, as long as there's 4 gravel, 4 sand, and 1 dye, and that will give you 8 of the desired colors, concrete powder of the color that you crafted it with. So let's say for example I used rose red. I would simply get red concrete powder, or 8 red concrete powder, and if I were to use lapis lazuli, for example, twist it around a little bit, boom boom boom, like that, I would get simply 8 blue concrete powder, and so on and so forth. So you can see kind of how the pattern goes. So yeah, moving on, we actually have the new blocks as well. These are not the only new blocks that they've added. There's actually new blocks such as these, and these are the terracotta blocks. Now, what these are basically, I guess you could say, the new kind of next version of hardened clay. And as you can see, these things have some amazing patterns to them and some really cool colors. So basically what this is hardened clay that's even more hardened, I guess you could say, because if you know how to make hardened clay, you put it in a furnace, and that way, or you put normal clay, a clay block in a furnace, and then you get normal hardened clay. Then you can dye that clay with whatever dye you want. And obviously, like we discussed over here, that kind of color isn't really what we're looking for, or at least most people are looking for. So I guess that's kind of why they added in these new blocks. But yeah, so how to make these is simply do the same thing over and over. Just basically grab the red hardened clay to get red glazed terracotta. Actually, let me do that real quick. Use that feature, the little saved inventories, and you can get blue, you can get white, and I know this doesn't even look, white in some ways, but you can basically go for a lot of things. Now, if you look over here for a second, you can see that they can actually be placed in 4 different directions, being north, east, south, and west. Now, these blocks are quite interesting because you can actually place them down, and depending on where you are looking, they will face that direction as well. So as you can see, if I were to place them in a pattern like this, they would simply follow each other. It would look like a pattern that basically went around in a circle. Now, you can do this for a lot of these and basically get these really cool designs. Actually, let me turn on the light again on the sun. There we go, of the day. And as you can see, if I use the red ones, they get this nice little almost like rose looking kind of pattern. If I use the blue ones, you can kind of get this weird, I don't really know if this looks like a diamond or if it's like a more like an ocean kind of pattern. I don't know, a little technology-ish. And if you go to the white one, this is kind of cool actually. Some of them gives you some really cool patterns, such as this one. This actually, the white let's see here, glazed terracottas actually make up a sun if you place them in this order. Basically, if they're placed correctly, with each one facing to the side of the other one. So pretty simple. Just take the desired or whatever hardened clay that you want to make into glazed terracotta, and that's about it. There's really anything except for one exception, and that's that you can't actually use normal hardened clay to make any of these because it doesn't have a color. It has no inheritance or makes no real specific color. You can't basically use it. But for all the other colors, meaning the other 16, I guess you could say, available colors of hardened clay, you can make pretty much any of these colors. Now, I only showed 3 of these, so I thought it'd be nice for you guys to be able to check it out yourselves and that I not spoil everything for you guys. So go have a look on that. It's really, really cool. I bet you guys will have amazing ideas using these because I see lots of potential in these blocks. So Yeah. Next thing we have over here is a little change they made. So these, okay, so going from here on, we're actually moving on a little bit more to the changes, what already exists in the game. So yeah, as you can see, this is actually empty right now. There was a zombie pigman here before. So if I simply put this into difficulty 1, just make it easy real quick. If I get a zombie pigman, let's see, I can type properly as well. That'd be great. And I place it in here. Let's push him down here, buddy, because I don't want him to attack me. But basically what Mojang did is that as long as a zombie pigman is neutral, meaning that you haven't attacked it or that it's basically not trying to chase you or kill you, you can actually sleep close to zombie pigman now. Now, I'm still not sure if you can actually sleep in the nether, but I'm thinking that perhaps if, you know, zombie pigman, let's say, went through the portal in the overworld, maybe that would be possible. But so I'm going to set my game mode to survival mode, and I will actually make, real quick, and I don't want monsters to spawn, so I'm just going to make my time here to nighttime, and then we can go into bed. And you can see it works perfectly, no big deal, and you are good to go, basically. So you can sleep next to zombie pigmen as long as they are neutral. So, going back to creative real quick, we can move on, and here's the second change that they have done so far. Actually, I'm just going to set it back to peaceful, because that thing is making a lot of sound. So, basically, the new magma blocks that Minecraft or Mojang added now act the same as netherrack in the way that you can have a infinite burning flame on top of it. So I think that's pretty cool, and if you didn't already know, magma blocks actually inherit the light source or the light level of other light sources around it. So going from, I think, 9 to 18 or something like that, I'm not sure, 7 or 2, something like that. It's kind of a weird pattern and a weird way it works, but it is kind of cool, and I honestly think this is great because I myself have been so tired of having to use netherrack all this time, and I think the magma block has a much cooler texture to it. So the third change that they've actually done into the game right now is just basically update the banner and wool palettes, as well as, yeah, I think that's about it, including the shields and everything else. Basically, so what they did is that, I'll show a picture here up in the corner. It's kind of hard to see, but if you look really closely, you can kind of see how the new, the after math of what they did. Basically, the colors on the sheep or the wool and the banners in this case. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a picture of the sheep of the difference because that was really hard for me to get. But you can kind of see if you look closely that the newer banners, and I guess wool in this case the same way, are more saturated. They have a little bit more saturation to them, and it just basically makes the colors stand out a little more. A little bit more like these over here, I guess you could say. So yeah, guess I'll have to end this video here. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next episode. So yeah, see you later. Peace out.